Hubert, what would be your initial observations of Clemson, and what have you noticed while you've studied them, and what do you think about what you guys are going to see more?
Well, I mean, it's a typical Clemson team, very physical, great defensively. They do an outstanding job of protecting the paint, rebounding, make it hard coming off screens. We're going to have to set our man up and be able to create space, be able to catch the ball where we want to, set solid legal screens. They just do a really good job defensively. And then on the offensive end, it's just they have tremendous versatility. They've got, obviously, haul down one of the posts, but they've got other bigs that do a great job of sealing and posting up and scoring around the paint. And then, having guys like Gerard that it's not even just open shots, it's just, he can just shoot it. He can make shots. And so we're excited about the challenge of playing them and playing them on their home floor. And we're excited about the opportunity to compete against them.
Why are they so effective on the perimeter, getting so many open looks? And how do you combat that with the switching? Do you maybe not switch as much, or do you guys have to go over the screens, or how do you deal with that?
Well, I think, they can score consistently down low in the paint, and so it causes a problem, whether you want to play one-on-one or, a lot of teams have double the post, and that opens up things on the perimeter. And when you have the type of shooters that they have that can consistently knock down shots from the outside, that not only allows them to shoot from the outside, but opens up driving opportunities off of closeouts. And so they're a team that can score at the free throw line, they can score close to the basket, and they also can shoot the ball from three. And so that really stretches you defensively, but it's something that, that we've played against before, and we'll have to do a good job in order to compete against them.
With Gerard specifically, obviously you mentioned some of the things he can do. What kind of added dimension do you feel like he gives them? Obviously you've seen him a lot in his days at Syracuse, but with Clemson specifically, what kind of, added element do you think he brings to the table for them?
Well, he's able to shoot off the dribble or off the catch, and there's not many guys that have the ability to do that and to do it at a high level. That's very difficult to do. Most guys are off the dribble and that's it, or they're coming off of the screens, that's it. But for him, his ability to create space and be able to score with the ball in his hands or moving off of screens off the ball is at an elite level. He's been doing it throughout the 4 years that he was at Syracuse, and he's doing it now at Clemson.
Hubert, we talked about the rebounding a lot the other night at Pitt, and for good reason. And I was just wondering with some of the guys saying, there's been extra running if they don't crash during practice and things like that. Like coming out of those three, what was it, Kentucky, Oklahoma, was it UConn, Kentucky, Oklahoma? Were you mad at these? Were you mad at them? Did you sort of get into them, or were you sort of matter of factly saying, all right, look, you're going to have to run more if you're not rebounding?
I wasn't necessarily mad at them. I just, and it wasn't just after those three games. It's been the start of the season. I just have said that for us to be the best team that we can possibly become, we have to be a good rebounding team. There's just no way around it. And so, we talk a lot about what is your job and what is your responsibility. And whether it's on the offensive end, 3, 4, and 5, always attacking the offensive glass, and defensively boxing out. I think all those things are effort plays, toughness plays, a willingness and a want to be able to do it. And so whether it's doing extra running in practice or taking away playing time, whatever it is, it's very important to us. And I told them after the Pitt game, I said, you guys ruined it because you showed me you could do it. And so now it wasn't me telling you that this is very important to us. You guys clearly can do this against a Pittsburgh team that currently right now is the best rebounding team in our conference. And so that's something that I expect for them to do every game.
Yeah, I guess to go along with that, you had some extra time off here and there between some of the December games. Was film study, I know film study is always a part of it, but were there tangible moments in film study where you could say hey, Harrison, you know, you gotta get there, or hey, Cormac, you know, were there times like that where you specifically?
100%.
Okay.
I always do that.
Yeah,
Because if you don't show them, they won't believe it. You have to show them. And so, telling them this is what you're doing really well, and these are things you need to improve on, and then showing them what they're doing really well and showing them ways to improve. I think it's very important. I'm a visual learner, and so that's right up my alley. You know, people can say something to me and I can remember it, but for me, if I write it down, I remember it for the rest of my life, and if I see it, I remember it for the rest of my life. So I try to show things to the guys so that they can get a clear picture of what I'm talking about and what I want them to do out there on the floor.
Staying on rebounding, last 2 games, you guys have given up 25 offensive rebounds, only 3 second chance points. What do you attribute that to?
Boxing out, getting those, you know, one of the things that I thought we did a really good job at Oklahoma, Charleston Southern, and Pitt is also getting those long rebounds, not necessarily ones around the basket, but those 50-50 loose balls that get tipped out around the free throw line. I feel like we got those. We were the first ones on the floor. Just an importance of making contact first on those box outs, just making sure that, you know, the physicality. And one of the things I've said is, you know, in order, I was watching, it was an analysis on the, you know, the Final Four of college football. There, you know, people were talking about this team is going to win or this team's going to win. And one guy just stood up and said, the reason whoever wins is the one that wins the battle in the trenches. It is what it is. So you can talk about the quarterback, running back, wide receivers, all that stuff. It's in a defensive line and an offensive line. Who wins the battle in the trenches? That's who's going to determine who wins the game. So I told the team that. And I said, look, we have to win the battle in the trenches. And in the trenches, those things are the rebounds, the box outs, the loose balls, the toughness plays, the talking on defense. Those are the things that are in the trenches, and those are the things that we have to win every day.
And the part of that, in the Oklahoma and Pitt games, they only had 3 second chance points total combining those 2 games. So if you don't get the rebound, they're challenging stuff in the paint there. Where does that come from with this group that perhaps wasn't there as much before?
Well, I think in some sense from the Oklahoma game, I think we've played bigger. You know, I think, you know, in the Oklahoma game, Zayden got double-figure minutes. Jay Witt's been in there more. The last couple games, we've had Armando and Jalen Washington in the game at the same time. So I think, you know, I think it's as simple as maybe a little bit that we've used more of a bigger lineup, and so I can box out Hall and Armando can box out Hall. We can do the same thing, but Armando's pretty taller than me, so he can probably get the rebound more than I can. And so I just think, you know, maybe having a bigger lineup has put us in a better position to rebound better.
How do you think the team, Hubert, did him in the road environment at Pitt, and how do you think that might translate to Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, you know, playing on the road, it was our first true road game, and prior to the game, I said I just don't really believe it would be a factor. I don't, even though it was a tough environment, I just feel like our non-conference season, we were in tough environments as well, whether we were in Madison Square Garden, Atlanta, the Bahamas. I felt like we have been in different environments that have put us in a position not to be affected by playing a true road game.
Hubert, obviously I know after the Pittsburgh game, you said you like for, you know, your players to break your records and break other records, things like that. Have you had a chance to chat with RJ at all after the 3-point record you got?
I don't. No, not at all. I told the guys, was it after, when did I talk to RJ? After he had the
Charleston Southern, after he did the 2010 5-0.
Yeah, and I told the team that, you know, when I was here, Coach Smith and Coach Guthers never let us look at stats. They took out the team stats from the other Tar Heels. So like 4 years I was here, I never knew what I was averaging, what my percentages were, and I never checked it. And so even when I was in the NBA, the only stat I ever looked at was at times how many threes that I was taking, because I wanted my shot portfolio to be diverse. I didn't want to just shoot threes. Other than that, I still don't know what I averaged, what I points, how many threes I made, so I don't really care. I'm 53 years old. I'm just happy that RJ and Armando and Pax and Cormac and all of them having success, and I just want them to have fun and play well.
Is that something that I don't know if this is something you consciously do? Is that something you have to kind of keep them away from, so to speak? I know
You
obviously
can't keep
with
it
social
away from
media,
them. They got this.
yeah.
Yeah, they get this. They get play-by-play after every play. I don't, so I can't keep it away from them, but I do stress to them the importance on focusing on what is real. And what is real is your preparation, how you practice, and how hard you play. And if you can check those 3 boxes at the end of the day, your stat sheet will look good.
Hubert, Coach Brownell has been at Clemson for a little over a decade now, and his teams are almost always competitive, especially in this series. What can you say about the job he's done? Because I feel like he's maybe a little underappreciated nationally for the job he's done at Clemson.
Well, he's one of the better coaches in the country. I've seen him even, the times that he was at UNCW, just a terrific coach in terms of X's and O's, outstanding motivator, teacher. All of his teams are sound, great defensively, rebounding the basketball, and so he's not underrated in my book. Even when I was with ESPN, he was one of the coaches that I really enjoyed going to practices and announcing their games because I felt like I learned a lot, and it's an honor and a privilege to be one of, alongside him as one of the coaches representing the ACC.
It feels like you guys have, found your identity, so to speak, or really clicking right now. Was there a moment that you felt like things kind of clicked into what you wanted this team to be?
I haven't looked at it that way. I just, I've told the guys that I'm encouraged for 2 reasons. One, that, I'm just really proud of them thus far of how they've competed, how they've prepared, and how they've played. But I'm also encouraged because I feel like we can get even better. I think we can be a better rebounding team, better defensively. I think we can shoot the ball much better. I think our pace can go even faster. And so the encouragement is the improvement that I think we can get to. My hope is throughout the rest of the season.
Hubert, with the rival season right around the corner, NC State next week, Duke in February, have those conversations started to happen with the freshmen and the transfers about playing in those environments and what that game means?
No, not really. I always try to, in fact, I gave them Bible verse yesterday because I give them a thought of the day. Sometimes I give them Bible verses. I gave them Proverbs 4:25. Keep your eyes straight ahead, ignore all sideshow distractions. And so I told them what's ahead of us is our preparation, our play for Clemson. Everything else doesn't matter at all. And just focus on us getting better as a team, and everything else will take care of itself.
And then just a quick follow-up, we saw some of the pictures, some music being played. What is the vibes in the locker room right now? Like, what is that song?
Oh, they're hilarious. I don't know what music they're playing. I like R&B, I like rap, but it's different. It's different. And so, but it gets them dancing, their personality comes out, and I absolutely love it. And so, whatever they're listening to is not on my playlist, but that's okay. We're all having fun together.
Aside from working very hard in the offseason, what is it about Seth that has taken his game from where it was to the point now where he's positively impacting things every time he steps on the floor?
Yeah, I think, obviously, he's always, because of his athleticism and strength, he's a gifted defensive player, so he can guard multiple people, he can rebound. I think not only, he's, proved his outside jump shot, but I think also consistency. It's, one of the things that he talks about all the time is stacking days, and he does that at practice, and he's doing that in games. And so, coming off the bench, just having his ability to make impact plays continuously on both ends of the floor has just really been huge for us, and I'm really happy and really proud of him.
He said that only about 60% of the time he knows what he's going to do when he uses his feet. So there's 40%
He
of the
never
time
told me
he's not
that,
sure.
okay? That doesn't make me feel very good on the bench.
He did say he needs to take a bite out of that 40 some. But as a guy whose game is really just evolving as we watch him, when he does leave his feet, do you ever find yourself kind of amazed at the hang time or the fearlessness that he plays with?
I do, and I want him to dunk the ball every time. I just do. I told him, I said, I'd never had that gift to be able to jump that high. If I did, I would try to dunk everything. And so when he goes into the lane and he tries a layup, I go, no, just dunk it. I don't even care if you miss it, just dunk it. But, you know, his ability to attack the basket and be able to finish around the rim, it also puts us in a position to get fouled and get to the free throw line. And getting to the free throw line and making free throws has been a real huge benefit for us. So it's not just off the post with Armando or Jay Wash, it's also off of penetration, and not just off of RJ or Elliott, it's also from Seth as well.
It seems like Seth and Jay Wood and Harrison especially, they really thrive in games with a high level of physicality. Have you been seeing that this season from those guys?
I think all of our guys do, and the reason being our practices have been physical. There hadn't been one practice where it hadn't gotten real. And so from the jump, since this team has gotten together, our practices have been very physical. And it's a team that lives there. And so when we get into a game and it's, there's physicality, it's something that we've already done. It's not something that we have to turn on for the game. It's something that we do every day at practice.
Thanks, Coach. We'll get Armando in here.
Okay. See you guys
Thank you,
later.
Hubert.